Thank you very much, Robinson Okenya. And we know that the Kenyan team has always been winning that team title. And we expect them to do the same because we have a very, very wonderful team there that is expected to stand. For obvious reason, we are Kenyans. And in matters to do the cross-country, we know how to dance against our opponents. Now, let's talk matters to do with nurturing young talent. You're talking about football, and today we had a tournament at South Bay, where Rutunu Konyike has been following that up. Just for the focus, Cheza Sports have always been out there trying to nurture and give the young talent a chance to be able to sharpen their skills while they're still at a tender age. Rutunu, how is it faring on that end?
So basically what is happening at the Railway Training Institute is the Academy's Children Football League. And in this league, we have a number of age categories, if I may name it. We have the under 11, we have the under 9, among others. And these are children between the 5 to 13 years of age. And how has the game been so far?
Hard and kind of tiring.
What are your expectations for the game?
Hopefully we try to win, as our coach is saying, and that we play well.
Currently, what is going on behind me is the under-11 boys football tournament, and this is between, we have the Cheza Sports, who are from South B and currently playing at home, who are hosting them. We have Icons from Westlands, and basically this league is to develop talent, among others, identify children who will able to play football according to FIFA standards.
What I've seen here today is quite impressive. I really like what the Cheza Sport is doing really with the boys, and the management and organization is well okay. And this Children's League is what we have already put in place to make sure we bring out the best from the kids and nurture their talent, and make sure in future purposes they can be able to have something to testify or just something good to say, you know.
This is the second edition. We had the first one in February, and so far we have performances of teams in the first leg and second leg. There are some number of kids that are proving to be more consistent. For instance, Amani is proving to be a star. All of so he's at under 11. He's being seen regularly, and is proving to be one of our key players. To our key player, not as Cheza Sports, but generally the league is one of the star. And if he generally he ends up playing for the national team, it's good for the country. He goes up to Europe level of competition. That's wonderful for everybody.
Later in the year, I understand there is a team that hopefully will be taken to Barcelona, and with that they get a taste of what it feels like playing outside there. And yeah, that is just basically what is happening today. Back to the studio.
Thank you very much, Rutunu, and that is basically what is happening there, nurturing that young talent. It is always very, very important. And you have been doing this, nurturing that young talent for quite a number of years now. I know you have some players that were once under you, now playing in Spanish La Liga. It is always key to make sure that these young players get this platform at a tender age, you'll agree.
Oh, definitely. And we've got one in China as well. Ayub Timbe Masika, who also plies his trade for our national team, Harambee Stars. I think in Kenya, the most vibrant football is played at that level, up to about under 16 level. They've just mentioned that they're sending out a team to Spain. The last Kenyan team to go to Spain in that category, more or less that age group, performed splendidly well. And I think they beat Barcelona or something like that. So you can, I mean, if only we can bridge the under-16s into the senior level and serve that feeder, the grassroots as a feeder system into the national team level and club level, then we'll be talking really, really, really serious stuff. But as it is, and as it has been for very many years now, that gap serves instead to kill this talent, which is most unfortunate because all that talent gets lost. So some of those players I coached, yes, John Guidetti, who's a Swedish international, plays in Spain, and Ayub Timbe Masika plays in Beijing, in China. But some of the other lads got lost along the way. One of them got into violent crime, gun crime, that's what I'm talking of. And luckily for him, he got back. He got his act right, and he's back, and I think he's doing well for himself. So essentially, there's a good storyline to it, but mainly the dominant storyline is that talent gets lost at between under 16 level and this going into 17, 18 years of age.
What needs to be done
and they get
to cap
lost
that?
completely.
Actually, what needs to be done to be able to cap that?
We need to take sports very seriously, first and foremost. It starts from here. Our attitude towards sports has to shift from, oh, it's just a core curricular activity, to this is a serious, even academic activity that leads to very, very serious life-changing money, not just for individual players, but even for industries themselves.
A serious business, one might add.
Yes, definitely. Not just in terms of business for football, but it feeds into other businesses. The media would definitely reap dividend from that. Other industries like medicine would reap dividend from that. It goes without saying. Law would reap dividends from that.
Let's
because
talk
these
about
guys require serious representation and that sort of thing. So it's good all round for an economy.
Let's talk about one person, actually. We talk about now the national football team. I know we nurture these players with the aim that they play for the national team. One man, Mariga, is back in the national team that is expected to do duty during this year's, actually during the Comoros and also the Central African Republic friendlies. What does this take for you? Maybe he started his career at a tender age, but now he has been called back to the national team. A lot will be expected from this experienced man.
You see, as I said, it starts with the attitude. Their father's attitude was that sports is not just a co-curricular activity. Sports is a life-changing game. And he brought them up to believe that as part of their value system. And this is the tail-end result of that. Mariga, the first Kenyan to play in the UEFA Champions League in 2010, ever. And then, not only that, Mariga, the first Kenyan to win the UEFA Champions League, same year. His first year, his debut year.
What does he bring? What does he bring now to the national team? We know we have other call-ups, but we talk about this specific player. He has a lot of vast of experience.
Yes.
What does he bring on the table?
He brings a high level of discipline. He brings a high level of exposure. He brings a high level of experience. And he brings in a high level of inspiration, figuratively speaking, just to the other players, having him on board is a godsend. What I don't know now is how they'll fit in between, because he's a defensive midfielder, and his brother, Victor Wanyama, is also a defensive midfielder. So there'll be a bit of brotherhood competition there. Of
which is a very healthy one. We talk about other players who actually have been called by the acting coach, if we will use that term. Francis Kahata is there, he's back in that team. Paul Were has also been called back. Joano Mulo has also been called. Ayub Timbe, you're talking about how instrumental he is. He's been called back to the team. But we talk about this other player, Eric Kapaito, for Kariobangi Sharks. He has shown that he is a talent. Maybe supposedly replacing Masoud Juma. Remember his hat-trick last time out, a young chap. But he's been also called in that team.
I actually saw your interview. I think you're the one who interviewed him.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I did see. I did hear your voice. I didn't see your face, but I recognized your voice. And I think he's such a promising talent. And he's quite focused. When you listen to him speak, he's got the maturity. He knows where he wants to go. He knows where he's at right now. He knows his strengths. He knows what he's got to work on. And I think he's a beautiful prospect going forward. Just to take you back a bit, you mentioned Ayub Timbe Masika. That's the best talent I ever saw in those lower age groups. Better than even John Guidetti. I'm sorry to say that because I have a soft spot for John. But Ayub Timbe Masika was like the best talent I ever saw in that age group. Thank God he never got lost along the way.
We're talking about those players because they have been recalled, and maybe some of them are called to the national team that will be doing duty for the country during the FIFA window. We will have a friendly match that is set to be played against Comoros, and then another match that will be played against the Central African Republic. These players actually are going to camp in Morocco from 19th of this month as they prepare for that friendly. Let's talk about a different national team that will be doing duty again for the country. This time out is matters to do with the Kabaddi. For them, they are preparing for the World Cup qualifiers. And when you talk about World Cup qualifiers, it is always enticing because the first round in Rwanda, the Kenyan team showed that they can dance against the others in matters to do with the Kabaddi. They head to Tanzania, heads high, saying that we know how to do this and we are confident that we get that slot. Rutunu Kwanyike with more details.
The national Kabaddi team will represent the country in round 2 of the East Africa World Cup qualifiers in Tanzania between 10th to 13th March. This comes in a time when Kabaddi in the country is growing steadily to accommodate a larger following.
We now want to start a league in Kenya. We set up a league in Kenya so that these players can be playing games. You know, you cannot train just training and there's no test match.
The team has intensified its training, but even with high hopes of coming out victorious, the players are well aware of the daunting task ahead.
Tanzania, they have been, playing, and they also came here and we play with them. So for us, it's not an easy work.
We've been training since the year started, and we've been preparing for this tournament.
From the upcoming tournament, teams will be selected from among 4 countries to participate in the African World Cup qualifiers slated for end of March at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Rwanda may have given Kenya a run for its champ status, but this may not be the case in Tanzania. Kabaddi is a sport that continues to witness growth not only in the country but also beyond its borders. The team is hard in training as it looks forward to cut a ticket that will enable it qualify for the World Cup in 2019. Rotuno Konyike, KTN Sports.
Yes, Rutunu Kwanyike, the last born on our sports desk, and she's doing it. She has that passion, and you'll be hearing a lot from her, telling us about the Kabaddi, that a team is very, very confident and comfortable that they will be able to get those medals. Let's talk about a different team altogether. This time round is boxing. I don't know how to box that well, but there are players who know how to do that, are quite comfortable, and they will be going to the Commonwealth Games that is set from 4th to 15th of April. That team, they are camping in Nakuru, but for them, they're saying we don't have the enough equipment that will be necessary as we prepare to go there, just try to do duty and represent the country as best way that we can. Let's listen in from their tactician at the same time from some of the boxers who are saying we need help and we need that help in good time, and that help needs to come from the NOC Federation in the country.
Serikali wale NOC ambao wanashughulika na mambo ya mchezo common, tungeomba watuletee hizo equipment zetu ndio tuweze kumfanyia. Juu kama sasa mazoezi yetu tumerudi chini kwa sababu ya hizo equipment zingine, hatuna facilities za kutosha.
Facilities tumekuwa tukiomba facilities zifike. At least kuna vitu tungekuwa tunafanya, lakini kwa sasa tuzifanye kwa sababu hizo vitu haziko. Morali iko juu, naweza sema morali iko juu kwa kila box iko moral. Tunekana si wenyewe kwa wenyewe moral, makocha pia wanatuweka moral, na kila mtu akitoka hapo hivi kurudi na medal yote tu ile tutashukuru.
Matarajio yetu ni kubwa sana, tumeendelea vizuri. So Kenyans wasifikirie hakuna kitu tutafanya. Waache tu watu angalie vile tunaendelea.
A news story because we've always been having issues with the national team preparation. The boxing team, yes, they are in Nakuru. They've been there from Monday, and they're saying that the National Olympics Committee needs to step up. And when we talk about this National Committee, there are already some issues that they need to sort out. First of all, the weightlifting team. We saw some of the weightlifters coming and, sorry, the wrestling team, not weightlifting, the wrestling team, forgive me for that. They're coming and saying that their chairman decided to select some other players that maybe he favors and left out the players that needs to represent the country in matters to do with the Commonwealth Games. Some early issues coming in an early time, maybe something that will be there for quite a number of years of time to come? Or do you think Paul Target will start sorting out these issues and start making huge statements at an early time, something that we expect him to do?
I don't know if those claims are true, but they're very believable. Because as you've rightly introduced that story, the question that you've just asked me, these are perennial problems. They happen year in, year out. And when we're going out, you hear coaches being alleged to favor certain players. You see, favoritism comes into play. I wouldn't doubt it, even though I don't have any concrete evidence of this particular case. Again, it's our attitude towards sports. We don't take it seriously. If there was seriousness towards sports, surely some of these allegations you would not hear. Boxing, we used to contest at the topmost level against the Cubans 30-odd years ago. At the time, the Cubans were the best in the world. Fidel Castro, their president at the time, had invested heavily in boxing. And Kenya used to take them on. Kenya used to come out with gold medals in boxing and that sort of thing. But over the years, we've lost our value system and we've taken things lighter and lighter and lighter. Paul Tergat cannot do it on his own, to be honest. I think he's got a heart of gold and he means well for sports, but he cannot do it on his own. So we've got to keep that bell ringing. We've got to drum it into everyone. Sports must be taken seriously. You see, it's unfortunate, like last week, you had so many sporting events going on a Saturday, and the new CS for sports was busy having a homecoming party, dancing the afternoon away. That doesn't show seriousness towards sports. It doesn't reflect well for someone who's just come in, new in the job, and he's supposed to show...
He needs to enjoy it with his people, one will argue.
What better way to enjoy it than bringing glory to the country, than restoring our country's sporting image? What better way would it... What better way would you suggest?
I think that's a question he might be watching and he will...
Moses, we have the most beautiful anthem, national anthem in the world. Don't you want to hear our national anthem play in those international circuits? The whole world keeps quiet and listens to, "O God of all creation, bless this our land and nation." What better way, my dear brother?
Yes, that's food for thought. What better way should we do that? And maybe what better way should we also be able to make sure that our sports here in the country is something